So in this video, I want to talk to you about something which I had to learn by the hard way many times because I often forgot it. So let's say you have a course here. That's your course. Okay? It's a subject. You're in medical school. And you have this subject here. And you have, actually you don't have only this subject, you have many subjects. C for course, subject course 1, course 2, course 3, etc. Okay? And all these courses, they have a lot of content for you to learn. Now, in an ideal world, you would have all the time in the world to just study it and read it from the beginning to the end for each and every one of those courses. And you would also have the time in the end to review all of the material again, test yourself, and know it by heart, everything that you should know, you know it, and you are going to become the best and brightest doctor. These are the usual thoughts that I think most of us have. But then comes reality. Then there are going to be either distractions, or it's so difficult sometimes to understand, or you went out with some friends to have a good time, or somebody dies. Sometimes even that happens. Like I've had colleagues or other students in our class who had big tragedies in their life and they lost a lot of time, and it is very understandable. So things happen, and you do not have that ideal time, and you will not always be able to study perfectly every course. So what you need to do, is you need to think realistically, in a realistic way. So for every course, what you should be doing is, let's say that's a course. Here again, we have the courses. This is the ideal scenario. And this is what I often had to do. I'm not proud of it, and I wish it wouldn't be that way. But anybody who is successful in passing courses, I've seen most of them doing it. So what you need to do is, you need to realize, first of all, that there are specific things every instructor wants you to know. Let's say these are the green things here, okay? And they want you to know these things. What you need to do is, you need to first identify those things they want you to know. And how do you do that? Well, depending on your university and where you study, it might be easier or more difficult or even impossible. I don't know all the universities in all the world. So you would find other people who already have taken the course, other people who have already taken and passed the course, and you would ask them, hey, what did you study? What came up in the exam? And this is if you're good at socializing, you won't have problem doing that. It's always good to, when you meet new people, to ask them, hey, do you know something about this course or that course? And more often than not, they will know something and they will help you depending on where you live and how kind the people are where you live. So in my university, they usually are very kind and giving. There are still those who won't want to help you. But that's one way. Another way is to see if there are study groups or study groups on Facebook, or note-taking groups, note-sharing actually groups on Facebook or some other platforms, and go there and see if people have pasted exam questions that came up in the past years. In some countries, this is very popular. It is definitely in my country. Something else is, you can even talk to your professor about it and ask them, hey, you know what? I'm having a difficult time with this course. Is there something you want me to focus on? Or if you go to their lectures, they will often, depending on the instructor, guide you on what they want you to know. Then they will tell you, you know what, this is very important, or you really should know that, or I asked this last year and nobody knew it. There are also those instructors who will not give any hints, and it always depends on what kind of instructor you have. And then there is also their slides and the notes of the instructors. If they give you slides or notes or anything, PowerPoints, then they might highlight several stuff in a different way that is important. Like I used to have an instructor who was placing these danger icons or something like that, or sometimes they're highlighting with red. It always depends on the instructor. Of course, it's not always the same, and it depends on the mentality of them. There are some instructors who don't care if you succeed and keep it a secret and a mystery on what's going to come up on the exam. And then there are those who would like to succeed and who would like to guide you. And it, depending on which one you have, you will be more lucky or not. I just finished recording this video, but I still want to add one more thing on this list here. There are often, or not often, depending on the type of exam you're taking, there are online question banks like UWorld for medical school or AMBOSS or whatever, or there are books of Q&As that are very relevant or good for practicing. Sometimes the instructors or the examiners, like they have a preference on which book or which question bank or whatever they would like to use. So I don't know what you're studying for. It always depends if there is some sort of question bank online and available, or offline in a book. But if you ask around, sometimes some people might tell you, hey, you know what? He likes asking questions from that book. So you would go and get that book or find that question bank and study from there and do this kind of studying, which I will explain in the video. These are some ways with which you could find high-yield notes, high-yield information, questions that are very important, stuff they want you to know. And then what you would do is, let's say you utilize some of those things here we discussed, and you have this course here, and you have this list of what everybody told you or what you found, or you have files in your folder and whatever. So what you would do now is you take this list and you take each item or file or whatever. So let's say this is a question, and then, or something related to that. And then you start studying. You first try to understand this, and then you try to understand a little bit more about everything this piece of information contains. Like, what is this? If it talks about a disease, what is a disease? Why is it called that way? If it talks about some therapy or if there's some other terminology, you go and look it up. You learn everything about each and every item, and it's like you are doing this here. You learn each and everything, a little bit about every item. It's like you work around your way around high yield nodes. You try to understand them. You don't just learn them by heart. Like, you don't just know this exact information and nothing else, and you don't even know what it means, or you just learned it without knowing what it is. You gotta learn, and you gotta teach yourself about what it is talking about, what it means, what the different terms mean, and what they are. This will result in you, let's say this is a course, the course content. And this will result in you studying, like in a spiral way, all the things you should know, or you are expected to know, or in the past, like you were expected to know, or you are expected to know those things. And then you leave out a lot of unnecessary information, which the professor doesn't really care if you know it, or it might still be important, but they will never ask this. And this will allow you to focus on what is going to come up in the exams. So here, where's the green? Oops, sorry. Where's the green highlighter? So let's say, again, I'm going to show this again. So let's say these are the things that might come in the exams, or they have come up, and it's a relative information. And these things are extra information that they don't want you really to know. And what you're doing with this way, you study your way out of this mess, and you only focus on what you should know. And more often than not, actually, if you would do that, like I never really didn't pass a course after doing this the right way. The only times I didn't pass a course was when I didn't even do this, and I didn't do even what I should have done, or I had a lot of very little time. But other times I didn't pass a course, and that's really something very regrettable to me. So I had a few times, not too many. I had this big course here, let's say, with all this information, okay. And I was really excited about this course. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna study everything. With what color am I gonna use now? I'm gonna use this one. And I started studying from the beginning, every little detail. Took me so much time. And then in the end, let's say, here came, while I was maybe halfway through, or a little less than half, actually a little bit more. Yeah, even if you study all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you already know it. You just go over it once. And maybe now the deadline came, the course exams were tomorrow, and I just went over a lot of information, which was very interesting and really it was very enjoyable to study all that stuff. But I had zero time in doing a review, and I had zero chances of passing. They weren't totally zero, but you get the point. And that happened a few times. Or sometimes you would just start studying and you don't even reach halfway of the content. It takes a lot of time. There are often other courses as well. And you need to realize that it will almost never be this ideal where you can study everything perfectly like you would want to. And it's some sort of perfectionism a few people have. Others have it more. Other people have it less. And you need to remind yourself, or you will fail a few times and you will get it maybe. There are sometimes people who don't get it at all and they just study this way and take a lot longer until they finish or they drop out. But I know that this should be the ideal way, but you cannot have zero social life, zero whatever life. You cannot never enjoy your life. Like, then why are you studying? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, tell me, hey, nice video, make another one or something like that. If there are specific questions you would like answered, go ahead and ask them. I might be able to help you. I might even do another video if it's a really good question and if I have something to say about that. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.